Music was a big part of Byzantine culture, with it being used for religious and entertainment reasons often. Considering the fact that the Byzantine Empire was made up of many different cultures, they all came together well to create great music that was enjoyed in parties and courts throughout the whole era. Byzantine music was influenced by Roman music traditions, Greek music, as well as religious music traditions of Syriac and Hebrew cultures. Most of the music until the late days of the empire was made for the church, with hymns and chants being popular in this time period. The role of musical notation, which is the recording and preservation of sounds and notes, was one of the ways music spread so quickly throughout the cities. It is very interesting to study the way notation evolved in this time period, with it needing to be changed due to the increasing complexity of the music being created. Let's talk about composers. The earliest Byzantine composers were also probably poets. However, a lot of these composers worked in the churches and made music for worship. Much like the more Western Gregorian chant, an Eastern version called the Byzantine chant was used in praise. It was made up of songs and hymns composed to Greek texts. Now let's shift to instruments. Musical instruments found in the Byzantine Empire were lutes, dulcimers, harps, organs, pear-shaped lyres, Byzantine violins, bagpipes, and the Greek instruments kithara and aulos. All of these instruments were used to create a diverse sound that would influence composers to create good music that was enjoyed with dance and celebration. A lot of music created was instrumental, meaning no voices paired with instruments, so it was played at celebrations and parties and danced to a lot. Now let's focus on the notation at the time. In the early Byzantine period, musical notation was recorded in manuscripts containing the religious text the music was written to. The earliest notation was made up of a range of signs that were used in books containing the religious readings made for certain religious services. In the Middle Byzantine period, notation became a much more detailed system and came to be used a lot throughout the churches. Because the hymns and songs' melodies were becoming increasingly more complicated, the notation had to be able to capture these precise details of the melody's pitch and articulation. In the late Byzantine period, the chants being sung became so expansive and complex that a single syllable of the text had to be recorded and mapped out. The notation evolved from very simple to very complex because the music itself had evolved from very simple to very complex. Overall, music was a big part of religious gatherings and celebrations in the Byzantine Empire, and it evolved and changed a lot throughout that time. The ways music was recorded also changed a lot, and it was a time of great cultural diversity and learning. Music would not be what it is today if it weren't for the changes and innovations made during this time period.